All right, so did you read Marvel Zombies Black, White, and Blood? And before we get into the review, we have a really great question. Is this a prequel or is this a sequel to Marvel Zombies? And from what we know so far and what I've read, it doesn't seem to be a prequel or even a sequel, but a new standalone series that is representative off of the Marvel Zombies. Now, in this book, which is number one, we're getting anthology, three stories. And the first one comes in the form of Daredevil and Daredevil Undefeated. And what's really cool about it is that it's very reminiscent to a play on his dad because his dad was a boxer. And what we see, Matt Murdock, who is a zombie, he is going through trials and tribulations of going through endless fights. And people are controlling him. They're putting him in the ring and he's going against other zombies. Basically, he's fighting his way through. Now, this first story is pretty gory, but also very interesting because it leaves you wanting to read more to see what happens. Now, towards the end of the story, spoiler alert, if you don't want to know the spoiler, well, Matt blows up. And that's because he receives the aid from someone in order to take out the people who's been controlling him. And who is that person? Well, you definitely have to go and read it. And then next we get my favorite story within this book, and it has to do with Spider-Man. Spider-Man is at the Daily Bugle and he is going through a horde. Now, I mean a horde of zombies, and he's fighting off everyone to the best of his ability. And what's really cool about it is we know that things are hitting the fan because Jay Jameson is like Spider-Man, like come with us, right? And this is kind of the first time that we're seeing an interaction with uh with Jay Jameson where he seems like he cares for Spider-Man and Spider-Man's like go 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 just go, and this whole entire time what's pushing Spider-Man along is that he's thinking about Mary Jane and he's thinking about Aunt May. And when you think things cannot get worse, in the fight he ends up seeing someone, and who's that someone? Who's a zombie? It's Aunt May. Now, he is going through a mental break, but let me tell you all something. This is probably my favorite story within this book. Now, it's not to say that the other stories are not good, but this one really hit me hard. Now, something happens at the end that you might not really like, but you'll be interested to continue to read. Now, the last story in the book seems to be bringing things together or a couple of puzzle pieces together. And it is all about Moon Knight. And Moon Knight is with Khonshu. And basically, they're looking over the city and they're aware of everything that's happening with this zombie based infection. And who's at the helm of this curse? We're not truly too sure, but we do see someone come out of a portal, and that person is Iron Man. And Iron Man is zombified to the max, but he's also coherent. Now, this zombified version of Iron Man is working with the god Anubis. But what's really cool is that we see a lot of red in terms of the ink splashing for this story in particular because Moon Knight is going all out and something happens to him, and I'm going to spoil it for you all. He gets zombified, but that only amplifies his greediness and willingness to do whatever it takes. Now, what will happen in the next book? We're not too sure, but I'm loving it so far. Now, overall, all three stories aren't particularly super detailed, but I'm okay with that. It's giving you kind of like a perspective on these three different characters, and you're trying to find out what's going to happen to them next. So, if I had to rate this book, I'm definitely going to rate it a go read it. The story was definitely, I would probably say a 8 out of 10. The artwork, which was really good to me, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 as well. And in terms of anticipation for wanting to see what is going to happen next within this Marvel Zombies world, black, white, and blood, I'm definitely going to give it a 8.5 out of 10. So overall, I'm definitely going to rate it again a go read it. Go out and read it because I can't wait to see what happens next. Later, everyone.